How would you like to heal Sjogren's autoimmune disease? Divya Dhawan will tell us how to do it. And what's so special about Divya is she is known as the Sjogren's Queen, a powerhouse functional medicine practitioner and real-life thriver of Sjogren's syndrome. After years of navigating medical gaslighting and generic advice, Divya cracked the code to reversing her autoimmune symptoms without medication. And she now empowers high-achieving women, moms and executives alike to stop settling for dry diagnosis and start healing with root cause functional strategies that actually work. From HTMA testing and mineral balancing to decoding food triggers and burnout recovery, Divya blends science, soul, and sass into every insight. So Divya, tell us about Sjogren's syndrome. What is it? And what are the first symptoms an entrepreneur should be aware of?
Heal Podcast with Lily Patrascu shares longevity and anti-aging techniques to stay young forever, increase energy, overcome addiction, and live your longest, best life ever. Shared by world's most innovative, alternative, and traditional health thought leaders, healers, and doctors. Discover quantum healing strategies to heal your mind, body, and soul.
Hey, sure, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on your show, Lily. And Sjogren's syndrome, or now officially known as Sjogren's disease, is actually an autoimmune disorder in which all the red glands of the body start getting affected. And it is also officially recognized by all the rheumatologists and the Doctors Association in the US now that Sjogren's also comes with joint pains and and it also comes along with many other autoimmune disorders sometimes. So although it is an autoimmune disorder in itself, it's autoimmune disorder, but it can have overlaps with other autoimmune disorders along with it. So joint pains, fibromyalgia, it can be coming with lupus, with psoriasis, but the very primary and the very marked symptoms for Sjogren's are dry eyes, dry mouth, and dry nose, also dry vagina.
Thank you. Tell us, how can an entrepreneur differentiate between Sjogren's syndrome and other conditions that could be very similar? You've already mentioned a little bit. Is there anything else that could help them to be correctly diagnosed?
So in terms of diagnosis, that is something that the rheumatologists do. As a functional practitioner, I recognize all autoimmune disorders as under one umbrella because all of them essentially start happening because of one single reason. But then going back to your question, which is how are they diagnosed correctly? The correct diagnosis for Sjogren's can be done with the help of a rheumatologist. And there are a couple of tests that they can do. They can run the ANA, the blood test, which for the marker ANA, which is anti-nuclear antibody. If that is positive, that usually means that there is an autoimmune disorder either already there or developing. So that's a very generic marker, although. And then there is a lip biopsy that is done to find out whether the salivary glands are affected, and then is that Sjogren's or not. And the other test also that is done is a Scheimer's test, which is done inside the eyes. So they see how the moisture of the eyes is. So if it's too dry, according to the Scheimer's test, then that confirms that you have Sjogren's. And the other one is the blood test, which looks for Sjogren's antibodies in particular, which are Sjogren's antibodies A or Sjogren's antibody B. And if you're positive for any one of them, B or A, you normally are diagnosed as having Sjogren's.
Thank you. Can someone who has Sjogren's syndrome, can they actually heal, or is it that they just learn how to cope and thrive with this condition?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. Now, as far as the medical system is concerned, I don't think they have a cure for any autoimmune disorder, whether it's Sjogren's, whether it's lupus, whether it's RA, which is rheumatoid arthritis. But when we talk about healing, our body is so beautiful and it is so intelligent. It just knows exactly how to do that. Now we have to provide the conditions for it to start doing the healing, because without those conditions, our body will still be overwhelmed and struggling But if we give those conditions, which means that we cut out all the processed foods, we cut out all the environmental toxins, we start detoxing the body properly. The body is already anyways detoxing on a daily basis, but it needs support at times. So when we do all these things, and many more, our body has the capability to heal and heal from any disorder, whether it's autoimmune or any other.
Thank you. What are the primary reasons for Sjogren's syndrome to appear? Is it stressors, or is it toxicity? Is it something else?
So it's different for everyone, all right? So we all are very, very different people. So if no two people who have Sjogren's are similar. So it could be environmental toxicities or mold for someone. It could be having too much of a leaky gut, or those gut health issues going on for someone else. And for someone else who has Sjogren's, it could just be stress, which is causing all those problems. Because remember, stress also can cause the similar responses from the body, which can happen if you have toxicity. It can happen if you have problems with your gut health. So everything is kind of related to each other, and nothing happens sort of in isolation.
Thank you. I'm so shocked actually about how impactful it is when you have like leaky gut and problems in your gut in general, and how it impacts and creates autoimmune conditions. I'm so shocked because I've had so many people talk about that, and I'm so shocked that that's the actual cause of autoimmune diseases. Tell us more about what is your blueprint for someone to, once they have been diagnosed with Sjogren's syndrome, what can they do to alleviate or reduce or hopefully at some point heal the Sjogren's syndrome?
Yeah, so like you said, gut health is so important as far as the overall health is concerned and autoimmune is concerned. So definitely we do a very, very deep dive into gut health when I work with my clients. So we look at the gut health in terms of whether they have leaky gut or not. How is the microbiome looking? Because if they have an imbalanced microbiome, which means that there is an overgrowth of pathogenic or bad opportunistic bacteria, and there is a reduction in the good or the beneficial bacteria, then that can also be a problem. We also look at how is the fat digestion and absorption happening, how is the protein digestion and absorption happening, because if that is not happening properly, that can cause problems, right? And then we go deep into what toxins that the gut is actually holding on to with the help of a gut health toxin panel. And then we also dive into mineral testing, because at the cellular level, if you look at it, our cells need these minerals to function properly, which is sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. And if there is an imbalance, which then that can cause the cells to start sort of dying out, because they're not getting the nutrients that they need, because these minerals are the minerals which help carry the nutrients inside the cell and then outside of the cell. So, helping that balance come back, and that helps to actually improve the health of those who have autoimmune. So it's a three-pronged process. We work on the nervous system, we work on the gut health too, and then we work on the mineral balancing.
Thank you. Tell us what causes a mineral imbalance. Is it, for example, let's say drinking too much coffee?
Yes, coffee can block the absorption of minerals in the body. And it could be other things like absence of minerals in the water, because these days our food is depleted, our water supply is depleted with the essential minerals that we need. So, for example, magnesium, all of us need it because magnesium is actually used in more than 300 enzymatic reactions inside the body, but we do not get it enough according to our daily requirement from the food that we eat, because the food does not have it anymore, because the soil that we grow the food in is completely depleted in these minerals that our body needs. So it could be, stress is one of them as well. And then caffeine is also adds to the fire. And then there is the depletion of minerals from the soil and the water anyway, right?
Thank you. So would you say that once you analyze what the actual imbalance is, you
Mm-hmm.
would supplement with, let's say, if it was calcium or magnesium, whichever of the two is kind of missing, you would recommend like a supplementation of those kind of minerals, and that would already help the person to have a better balance.
That is correct. Yeah. So in general, most of us need magnesium anyway, but that does not mean that generically, that anyone should just go and grab magnesium. And sometimes it could be, it could act opposite to what we want it to be. So when I do the testing, we look at the holistic picture. So there are some minerals which are high, then the other minerals will be low. So we want to balance them both, right? So for example, I'll give you a very classic example. Most people, I find that they have a calcium cell, calcium shell, which means that the calcium is so much in the cell that it is making the cell not absorb any other nutrients. In that case, the sodium, potassium, and the magnesium are very, very low. So we want to, add those minerals for this client, but also we want to remove the reason for why the calcium shell is happening. The calcium shell is happening because of a lot of stress. So there's a cell danger response that happens. And most people who are in stress or have undergone some kind of trauma. So we want to address that with the help of some mind body practices as well. So it has to go hand in hand.
Thank you. Tell us about the mind body practices. What routines and apps and habits would you recommend an entrepreneur who has an autoimmune disease like Sjogren's syndrome to practice in order to perhaps reduce stress or just, I know, integrate supplements into their lives that suit them once they are getting diagnosed with this particular condition?
Yeah, and the one thing that I would also like to add is that when it comes to working with a functional health practitioner, you do not have to be diagnosed, because sometimes women do get, I have personally met so many women who have had at least 10 years into suffering, but without any diagnosis, after which they got the diagnosis. So that does not mean that you have to keep suffering. There are ways, there are methods which you can use to start improving your health immediately, which is, functional health, which is holistic health. But going back to your question about stress, that if entrepreneurs have stress, and, I'm sure every entrepreneur has stress, because being an entrepreneur means that you are, it goes hand in hand with having stress. So we definitely do have stress. There's stress of daily operations, there's stress of, money, everything. So stress management is so important. And many times what works for my clients is, reframing the stress, because sometimes we, in our own heads, can blow up the situation so much. And when we sort of reframe it into understanding why this is happening, and this could have some better effect on our, day-to-day life, that helps. So that is one of the things that helps in reframing the kind of perspective you have for stress. That will help a lot. The second thing is also including breath work and yoga in your daily routine, which means that in the first 1 hour of you getting up, there should be no phones in front of you. There should be no TV in front of you, no news. Just go out in the sun barefoot if possible, on the grass, and let your body absorb the sunlight from the eyes without any glasses, without any sunglasses, because our eyes are also our window to the are connected to our brain. So when our eyes get that sunlight first thing in the morning, that reduces the cortisol for the day, and also sets the tone for how we spend the day, and how the cortisol and all these hormonal cycles will run throughout the day. So do that, and then take that time also simultaneously, if you can, to probably sit down on the grass or walk on the grass, and then if you're able to sit down, do breathing. So breathing exercises which come from yoga traditions, which are pranayam, are very, very beneficial for the body, because what is now the buzzword in the entire health industry called the vagus nerve stimulation, if you've heard about that, the ancient yogis already knew about it. And so the pranayam, which is the breath work, and the yoga, both of these practices are designed to actually activate your vagus nerve. And when your vagus nerve is activated and the vagus toning starts happening, your body will react accordingly, and the stress will go down, and you will become more productive throughout your day.
Thank you. Tell us about your personal journey thriving with Sjogren's autoimmune disease. And tell us about your ups and downs handling this particular disease, and how did you manage to like keep it under control?
Yeah, absolutely. I love talking about it. Almost every podcast interview I do, almost always talk about it. So I was diagnosed about almost about 12 years ago now. Gosh, yeah. So, but the thing is that this cascade of, having those health issues happening inside my body was pretty much started when I was a child. So I had a lot of digestive issues, constipation, constant headaches, being gassy, bloated, all those kind of, for a kid, having those was not a very is not a very good thing, but I still had it. Never got any proper guidance in terms of like how should I take care of my gut health or what could it lead to. But anyway, I just kept popping those pills and treating myself with that, and thankfully I did not have any hormonal problems, which many women also develop. But going into my 30s, then I started noticing, and this was probably in 2012, that I started noticing that my eyes used to become so dry that I used to have those ulcers on top of my cornea. And that was very painful. My eyes were red. But again, I used to go to I don't know how many doctors, and I never gotten any answer. But then in 2013, I just came down with a very bad flare, in which I was, each and every bone and joint and muscle in my body was hurting. I was very stiff, completely debilitated, could not move. I had swollen eyes and dry mouth as well. And then I was just spending every 4 hours in pain and then popping a pill, and then 4 hours in pain and then popping a pill. So doing that, needing my family to actually help me get up from the couch or get on the couch. So that was a very bad shape I was in. And then after going to about 3 or 4 doctors, I think about 5 doctors, finally there was one doctor who was able to diagnose me. And that was a big sigh of relief for all of us, thinking that, oh, now I've got now I know the name of the disease that is happening to me. So, okay, now we have a way forward. Now we'll get cured. But to my surprise and my family's surprise, when I went to the doctor and I was like, okay, now we know what I have. Now, how do we cure this? What is the way forward? And he was like, unfortunately, this is how you have to be for your whole life, and this we can only manage your symptoms. There's no cure. I was just looking at him for a few seconds. I'm like, no, that is not what I'm going to take it for an answer. So I started doing my own research because I did not see any answers coming from that side. So I started doing my own research. I did, a lot of online research. And the first thing that I found was that according to Ayurveda, actually, and for all your listeners who do not understand what is Ayurveda, Ayurveda is a medicine system from India, which is almost 6,000 years old. And it focuses on the entire body and not just one organ or one system. And according to Ayurveda, every disease in the body, you name it, every disease starts from the gut. So if your gut is not healthy, it has toxins inside of it, which is in the language of Ayurveda called ama, AMA, then your body will get sick. So we need to work on the gut. And lo and behold, functional medicine also teaches that today, that it all starts from the gut. So I started working on my gut. I started using a lot of mind body practices and using detoxification techniques and everything. And after about a year, I was completely medication free, and I was announced by my doctor as being in remission. And I've been there ever since, helping more and more women every day with being a coach.
Wow, that is amazing.
Thank you.
Do you find that now you are like this energy queen, like like you're full of energy and you're like absolutely thriving, even though you have still this condition?
So I do not have that condition because I have no symptoms at all. But when I was tested even 1 year ago, when I was tested 1 year after I was off medication, I did have the marker in my blood, which was SSB, but I had no symptoms at all. So, and after that, I stopped testing. Now my doctor is like, you don't have any symptoms. Why do you want to keep testing it? So, I probably might have the antibodies still, which means that I can, if I'm not taking care of my lifestyle and my diet, I still can get those symptoms, which I sometimes do, but I know what is going wrong. I understand how my body speaks to me. So I'm able to give it what it needs so that it can start healing. You know what I mean?
Yes. Tell us more about your 10 commandments for someone who, let's say, has an autoimmune disease and specifically Sjogren's syndrome. What would you have them do, like in a nutshell, so that they can optimize their condition? Is it simple things like, I don't know, is it drinking more water? Is it reducing their coffee intake? I don't know. Give us some simple hacks they can use.
Yeah, for sure. It is in total it will be 10, but let's divide it into 5 for now. So let's talk about diet, starting from so it's a dress protocol that I follow. So it's D as in diet, R as in rest, E as in exercise, S as in stress reduction, and then supplementation. And then we all top it all up with testing so that we find out what is actually going on with this particular person who has Sjogren's, and then customize all of this based on that. So now going back to the diet, first thing that you want to do is ditch all restaurant food, ditch all processed food, ditch all supermarket food. And when I say supermarket food, I mean not the raw fruits and vegetables. I mean, the freezer section. Don't go to the freezer section. Don't go to the highly processed section. If you get all the fruits and vegetables that you can, as far as possible, get organic fruits and vegetables, but start eating real food. Ditch all the processed food. So that was the first step. Second step, you have to give up gluten for some time at least, because gluten these days is laced with glyphosate, which is pesticide, which is world renowned now for the all the different things it causes in human body. Glyphosate actually acts as an antibiotic. So when it is sprayed on the wheat plant, it kills all the germs on the wheat. Then it stays on there. When the flour is made from the wheat, it comes inside us and it starts killing all our microbiome when it gets inside of us and causes leaky gut. And that's not it. It also crosses the gut blood barrier, goes into the blood and goes into different organs, causing the autoimmunity as well. Okay, so that is the second thing. Also ditch the dairy, which is highly processed. You know how we get those ultra pasteurized milks in the super stores? Completely ditch that. That's not good for us. If you can get your hands on raw milk, although from a good farmer who's raising A2 cows, that's a good kind of milk that the body will get some nutrition from, because all these foods are devoid of nutrition, so ditch them. Then we come to also not having caffeine. As you said, caffeine also stimulates the body too much, so that stimulation actually raises our cortisol on a daily level, which means in a layman's language, which means that our body will be constantly in fight or flight mode, which means that it will never go into that nervous system mode in which the repair and the rest in the body can happen. So coffee causes that kind of adrenal pumping. So we need to stay away from coffee as far as possible, especially if you have an autoimmune and you're struggling. So if you're not struggling, if you're doing fine, I think a little bit of good high quality coffee can do, but if you are struggling, just quit it. Then comes rest. So just getting 5 hours of sleep is not enough. We need to get quality sleep. And quality sleep means that we sleep by 10 p.m. and get up by 6 p.m. and we're not getting up in the middle, which also then is something that for some people, it's no matter how much they try, they're not able to do that. And that is because their hormones are all over the place. So the cortisol is high when it should not be in the night, because in night, typically for all of us, cortisol is very low and melatonin is high. That's a natural cycle of hormones that happens in all of our bodies. So getting the testing done, getting some supplementation in place, getting some practices, lifestyle practices, as I said earlier, go out in the sun, that will help balance the natural circadian rhythm. That is also helpful. So getting quality sleep and rest is very helpful. Yoga Nidra is something that is very, very helpful for people who have autoimmunity, and there are many videos on YouTube that you can use and follow. Then is exercise. Now, in today's day and age, the media has popularized gymming. So we all think that if we go to the gym, we're doing a very great thing. But you know what? For those who have autoimmunity, and for those entrepreneurs who are also having a hectic life and that stressful life for the whole day, the the pumping, going and pumping in the gym is not going to help, because exercise, we have to understand that exercise essentially is a very, very stressful activity for the body. So when the body is already, it's, you think of your body as a bucket which has stress in the form of water and which is overflowing. So if that stress is already overflowing from your body and your body cannot handle it, how do you think it'll handle the exercise? You will start having pain somewhere in your body the moment you start exercising and gymming in that way. So stay away from that kind of exercise, but movement is very essential. So have some kind of, maybe walking every day is very good. Do some kind of exercise which will put your body in a parasympathetic nervous system mode, which will help your body heal. So yoga, breath work, or tai chi, all these things are very good. So not exercising, yeah.
That is so interesting. Tell us how entrepreneurs can connect with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So entrepreneurs can connect with me on my website, www.sjogrensolution.com. They can also connect with me on Instagram. And as you said, my name, my handle on Instagram is Sjogren's Queen. It's easy to find. And I'm also present on Facebook as well as LinkedIn. On both Facebook and LinkedIn, I have a personal page, Divya Dhawan, and official page, which is Sjogren Solution. They can connect to me anywhere they want, wherever they can find me. But I also have a gut health cheat sheet that I've provided, which is a free resource for all people who have autoimmunity, because gut health is so important to take care of when it comes to autoimmunity, that I have provided. So probably Lily will provide it to all of you.
Thank you.
Follow me for more interviews with world's most innovative health changemakers to live your healthiest life ever.